eCapitol News Director Sean Ashley joins us now to discuss budget negotiations and other happenings at the Capitol. Sean, what's been the reaction among lawmakers to the governor's proposals?
Well, I think their reaction has been rather tepid. They say that some of the ideas which she expressed, they have been talking about for some time, but have yet to come to agreements on. In other cases, like the proposal to issue bonds to fund transportation projects, there seems to be general opposition to that. There's also additional opposition among some Democrats to a number of the tax ideas which she proposed, such as eliminating the refundability of the earned income tax credit. House Minority Leader Scott Inman pointed out on Friday, for example, that would actually shift the burden from the wealthiest in Oklahoma to the working poor, who receive about $27 million in tax refunds as a result of the earned income tax credit's refundability in the state. Overall, I think it does put some ideas out on the table, and that's what Governor Fallin indicated was her purpose, that this was a working draft, a concept, and a pathway forward. But in terms of being embraced and ultimately enacted by the legislature, I doubt you will see that happen because of opposition on both sides of the aisle.
So when do you expect to start seeing some budget plans emerge from the legislature?
Well, I think as they indicated this week, they are moving closer and closer. Senate President Pro Tem Brian Bingman pointed out, for example, that they have been working throughout the session, and we've heard the same thing from the House as well. A number of working groups have been involved in looking at specific aspects of the budget and ultimately how to balance it. There has been talk of sort of an artificial deadline of May 1st to come forth with some proposals. Of course, that's only a couple of weeks away. It would be unusual to have a budget plan by that early in the session. They've done it once that I'm aware of in my 20 years here. So I think it will be a few more weeks before we see a plan. And what you will see are some of the ideas that Governor Fallin has talked about, as well as some of the ideas that have been bouncing around in the House and the Senate.
There were also some developments this week regarding insurance coverage for autism. Where does that stand?
This bill now is headed back to the House for final consideration. This is an issue that has been talked about in the legislature for a number of years, going all the way back really to when the Senate was split 50-50 between Republicans and Democrats, and at that time there just weren't the votes to pass it. What this does is provide a certain amount of insurance coverage for the diagnosis and treatment of autism for children, specifically those under 9 years of age. It also has a stopgap provision in it in the event that insurance premiums should rise too much as a result of this mandate. It would then be rolled back and would essentially no longer exist. The House has to take a look at that stopgap provision and a few other minor amendments which were added in the Senate. If it's passed by the House, it then goes to Governor Fallin for her consideration.
Sean Ashley, News Director for eCapitol, thanks for your insight.
You're very welcome.